So my name is HHerrmann, and I did my senior project on environmental engineering. My mom majored in environmental sciences, and my dad was an engineer, so I said, why not just put them together and do that? And I've also really liked sciences and math in general. They've always come easily to me, and they've always been a real interest to me, especially in environment later in my life, in like high school. I've really liked learning how we impact the earth and how we can make a difference. So for my research question, I really wanted to focus on like how we can fix global climate change, because that's an increasing issue that a lot of politicians are talking about. So I thought, would engineering really help it best, or would sustainability? Because sustainability seems to be the main topic about how scientists want to go about fixing it. And what I learned through my research was that engineering really plays a role in everyday lives, through like sewage treatment all the way to like airplanes and like nuclear power. And what I really found out is that engineering can only go like so far as to make appliances efficient, and we actually really need to think forward and be sustainable and make sure we have resources for future generations, because if we deplete them all before we run out, then those future generations wouldn't be able to use them. And as you can see in this chart, we are one of the worst creators of municipal waste. Canada is right behind us, but I mean, being second to last isn't that good. I read somewhere that one American kid produces like 4 times as much as someone in a developing country, and that just shows you how much waste we are generating as a group of people and how we're using these resources too quickly. And we really need to make a difference in preserving like the natural resources that we use every day. So for my internship, I went to the high school visitation day at the University of Virginia. This was geared towards women in engineering, since a lot of women don't really go into math and science courses. There I got to meet with different engineers, people actually in the fields working for their degree, and it's really interesting to learn and listen to them actually talking about how interesting their field was and how passionate they were about it, and it really sparked my interest in like, yes, I really want to do this. I want to feel that energy and want to be able to do this in my life as well. For one of the things that we did during the program was that we got divided into like 4 big groups, and then within those big groups we divided into smaller 4-person people group. And our objective was to make a windmill. We had to consider costs, so they gave us a worksheet with all the costs of like the cup, the paper, tape. So we had to keep that in mind, and also what they did was give us like a battery, and we hooked it up, and they blew a fan on the windmill and see how much energy we created. And I just thought this whole process was really fun, and like actually taking into consideration the cost to build it, because windmills are really expensive, and we don't really do that. And I feel like high school, we don't take into consideration how much money is spent into putting and building these things. We actually came first out of our group, and then I think 4th overall. So another part of my internship was at Shelburne Hall at the VDOT Research Center. I worked with Mike Finch and Bridget Donaldson. I mainly spoke with Bridget about what she did, and she took me around the building. We toured. She showed me the concrete and the asphalt teams, and told me how they always fight to see which one's better. She also talked to me about some of the projects that she's been working on. One of them was actually roadside kill, like what to do with it, and she actually came up with the idea to put them in like a pile and actually decompose them with like a bunch of like sawdust and something over top of it, so it decomposes faster. And then she also continued to see if that waste was actually able to produce plants that we could grow and like kind of make it into an actual fertilizer. So that was really fun and interesting. She always tells me that there's always new projects and they're never the same, which I would really enjoy in my career, because I always want something, a new challenge. I don't like doing the same thing over and over again because it gets boring to me. So with like her telling me what she does, that really helps me focus on what I wanted to do. So I also shadowed Mike Finch that day, and he kind of took me in during lunchtime and talked about some of his projects that he did. And he's working on like a semi-permeable asphalt because of so much of the water runoff that comes with that. They have to have like a retention pond to let particles settle because they don't want to pollute the water too much anymore. And really throughout the day, I actually attended a meeting with them, and it was about how to best kind of take care of your diesel fuel. And like I got to meet so many different people around the table, and we actually just kind of two companies presented and actually kind of told you how the best way to handle your diesel fuel, because a lot of people were losing it due to like mishandling it and like water getting into it, because that can really damage your oil supply. My first mentor was Brittany Collier at McCormick Taylor. She really helped me in focusing on kind of what I wanted out of this senior project, because I generally didn't really have an idea of what environmental engineers did. I looked it up on Google, and I was like, okay, this seems fine. I mean, it's kind of general. And she really made me think about what I wanted, and she was like, what do you want to do? Like, what do you want out of it? And I was like, I want to be able to build something and make something better. She was like, well, I don't really do that, but you can come in anyways and talk to me. So I was like, yeah, sure, why not? And what she did, I actually really enjoyed, because she works with VDOT also. And she had to take into account when building roads, the environmental impacts to divert roads around historical land sites and environmental areas that are protected, and had to take that all to account. And actually the financial aspects of it. And she showed me this huge booklet of all this information that she had to give. And it was actually really interesting. I didn't think I would want to do that, but through like talking with her, I really enjoyed it. I also worked with Lee Dunn. She took me out on a day to Tucker Park, which is just like down the road. And we actually did water sampling, which I thought was really fun because we were outside in the sun. And we all know that like the Chesapeake is really polluted, and that we really want to improve the health. So she was doing water testing upriver from the Chesapeake, obviously. And she showed me and let me do the technique of actually sampling the water, taking the data, recording it, and then we went back to her like lab sort of area, and she let me use some of the equipment and test the clarity of the water, and we actually put it in an incubator to see if any collider. It was really fun and exciting to actually be a part of the process. So for my community service, I worked with Miss Alford and Mr. Allen. I really wanted to give back to the community, because I know engineers really work with the whole community. They work to make it better. We, like engineers, help move society forward. And I felt like, why not give back to the community, because engineers do that every single day. So I thought, why not start a garden? So I was initially doing research about how gardens would be successful and if mine would be, and a lot of people actually said that it fails. So that kind of turned, I was like, oh, this might not be good. What if it doesn't thrive? It wouldn't be a good legacy. But then I really thought it through and was like, Mr. Allen is agriculture. I know he can use it. I know he will be able to continue it on after me, and Interact Club will also be using it, because I want to use this garden to donate to the Houston Food Bank, because they provide so much for our local community. I just wanted to give back to them, because if we help the people around us, we will grow stronger and just be a better community overall. So like Dorothy said, we planted seedlings in Miss Alford's room, because I wanted like them to be more hardy before they went out into winter, because I know it's really difficult for plants to like survive out in the cold weather. So one of Mr. Allen was actually telling us to build a season extender, but we never really got around to it. So my mom gave me some tarps so I could help keep in the hot air, which is kind of cool, because it kind of takes into account like the greenhouse effect that we use for our own earth, but it's just like a neat kind of experiment to see with the plants. And there we are thinning out the plants so they have more room to grow, because you don't want the plants to grow too close to each other, else they will strangle each other. And there they are growing in this Alfred's room under the grow light. And here's the tarp that we used. It was really interesting to try to figure out how to place it because tarp wasn't long enough. So me and Georgie did a little experimenting with how to best place the tarp so we could cover all the plants. And one of the tarps actually wasn't that great, had a bunch of holes in it. So we just tried to fold it up, try to cover all those holes. And it was interesting to see all the difficulties that we had, especially with water, because we don't really have a hose. You need to have a key, so we have to bring out jugs every day. It was really a learning experience as to see, and I could kind of see the difficulties and why gardens don't like continue after the first year, because we were already having trouble and like the water supply wasn't constant, and you really have to have someone out there every day caring for it. So we were finally able to donate the lettuce to the Richmond Food Bank. I was really excited, and it was really fun actually donating to it. They're like, "Where'd you guys from? Where'd you guys get it from?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, we're just down the road in Richmond." I'm like, "Oh, that's really cool." And they're always telling us that they need more greens. And I was like, "Okay, this is like perfect." Like our project just went hand in hand with what they needed and what they needed for their people, and it was great. It was a great feeling to actually give something and see like their happy expressions. So I also worked with Catherine Reynolds for part of my community service in eradicating the invasive species. These plants were really thorny. It was not fun taking them down, but I knew it needed to be done because as like an environmental engineer, you really want to preserve the environment and actually make it like sustainable and actually keep it living, because invasive species can be so detrimental to the environment and take over and actually destroy it. Some advice I would give to rising juniors would be to start early. Go into the summer, you had a lot of AP courses in your senior year, and it's a lot of work to catch up if you miss a day because you have to do your internship. Summer is the perfect time, and actually do something that you like, because if you actually enjoy it, and time will fly by, and you actually get an idea of what you want to do in the future. I will be attending UVA, and I've been accepted into the engineering program. I hope to pursue a civil engineering degree, which is a broader topic of environmental engineering. Questions?
I had a question again. I wasn't sure if I caught this right, but you talked about roadkill.
Yeah.
Okay, so I've never seen as much roadkill as I have since I taught out in Louisville and driving on Route 6. But when I drive down someplace in Chesterfield, I see stuff there for like days. Like, what's the whole process for that?
I'm pretty sure when I was talking to her, like they have like trucks that eventually go and pick it up. Right. But I mean, it was kind of gross discussing that, but I was just like, oh, okay, that's cool that you're actually thinking of ways to like dispose of the bodies. And I mean, there's natural ways the vultures come and go, so I'm just like, okay, I guess so another option that we could use.
You mentioned one of the things when you work with the highway folks about permeable concrete. Tell us a little bit more about that, because I've been hearing a little bit more. I've been hearing about that a lot less.
So like he wants to make a semi-permeable like asphalt for roads.
Okay. Because
he wants the water to be able to go down, because it can actually like mess with like the water tables and everything, and it creates like water collects, and then it can take all those pollutants on the road with it, like outside, and then they have to have. He was talking about how they have to have these like huge retention ponds, and just like the land use could be used for something else if they had that semi-permeable asphalt, and I feel like they want to reduce that amount of land that they use. Yes.
When did you guys do plants outside?
Oh gosh. Okay, so we had like 2 rounds of it. One was in, I want to say like November.
She said February.
Yeah, the second one was February. The first one was like in December area.
Was there a reason you did it so early? Was that because of the time of school year ends?
Yeah,
okay.
It was kind of difficult, especially like planning with everything.
Yeah.
He initially was thinking that he was going to have a greenhouse and
yeah.
like sweet possums.
Yeah.
but that fell through.
Uh-huh.
So then we went to plan 2, which was the boxes, and that was actually fine. We worked out well. Yes.
When did y'all end up planting your spinach?
We planted it at the time that we actually put the lettuce out. So I actually learned from my mom that it's really hard to grow spinach from seed. So I would not recommend planting spinach at all. Buy it from the store. Yeah.
So seems like a lot of your project is looking at transportation. Do you think you might want to continue on in transportation or maybe something else, or still unsure?
Yeah, I actually went to like the engineering open house at UVA, and it's really interesting to see how civil engineers, they really work with transportation and like infrastructure. And I think I would want to do that because I always like solving problems. I hate staying at red lights and stop signs. It's awful. I'd rather just continue. So like, they're working on that to make it so traffic continues instead of like wasting gas sitting at stoplight.